Laapata Ladies has been selected as India's official entry for the Oscars 2025. The movie has been selected in the Best Foreign Film category. The cast of the film has been beaming with pride and are celebrating the big feat. Directed by Kiran Rao, Laapata Ladies was picked from a list of 29 films, including Bollywood hit Animal and Cannes winner All We Imagine Is Light. Joining us now is the director of Laapata Ladies. Kiran Rao is with us, and of course this is very significant because this is the film that is India's entry as far as the 2025 Oscars are concerned. Kiran Rao, thank you so much for speaking to us, and let me begin by asking you, how does this recognition feel and what does this mean to you as a filmmaker?
This recognition is very humbling. It's a huge honor, and honestly I'm in a state of a little bit of shock and disbelief. I'm really happy. There were lots of great films in contention, and to be chosen as India's entry is nothing short of an award in itself. So I'm beyond delighted.
Right. And can you take us through what was the inspiration? Because it's a very different kind of a story. If you look at the kind of films that generally come out of Bollywood, what is the story behind Laapata Ladies? Can you share with us the creative journey that led to the making of this film?
So the journey started when Aamir read a script called Two Brides, which was written by a writer called Biplab Goswami, and from there the team just kept joining, as they say, Karwan Badhta Gaya. We got more writers on board, and the heart of it was such an exciting journey that two girls who actually get lost and end up finding themselves. So we took that as the central idea, and at heart what we really wanted to convey was a sense of hope, was a sense of optimism, was a sense of solidarity with girls and women across the country. And we wanted to do that through a very fun journey, through a comedy, where we also learn a little bit to laugh at ourselves. So that was the inspiration behind it, and luckily we got a great team at Aamir Khan Productions, at Jio Studios, to make this film the way we wanted. And we were also very fortunate that the audience loved it as much as we loved making it.
Right. And also, if you look at the larger themes, of course, as you said, it's a comedy. So, of course, you know, it is an entertainer in that sense. But you've also delved into a lot of very significant themes such as identity, womanhood, social pressures that are faced. How important was it for you to explore these issues in a sensitive manner? And what are the kind of conversations that you're hoping to spark with all of this?
That was paramount in my mind. I wanted to use this as a vehicle to open up these conversations regarding women's rights, women's freedoms, gender equity and parity in this country. And this film offered all those opportunities to me with the journey of these two girls. It was important for us to also show that women, once given a chance, given the freedom, can actually find success, find fulfillment, and find some joy in their own lives. All they really need to do is to take the first step and to ask for help. And I believe that these stories are exceedingly important. Women are half this country, they are indeed half the world, and our stories are just not heard enough. Our voices are not heard and seen across cinema screens. So I did think that this was exceedingly important for me to showcase, and that's why we made this film. And I'm happy that that's what comes through when you watch it.
Right. And, you know, Indian audiences, of course, would connect with rural India, where the entire premise and the entire theme of this film is based. What impact do you think that this film will have as far as an international audience is concerned?
I feel that this film speaks a fairly universal language when we talk about what the experiences of women are at different stages in their lives, despite the fact that this seems to be from a very culturally specific standpoint of women in rural India. Women, there is a certain universal experience that women have, and that's something that I think will speak to audiences across countries, and certainly when we speak to, in this case, the Academy members, I think that's what will appeal to them. For instance, this film is releasing in Japan in theatres on the 4th of October, and from all my conversations with the distribution team and the media in Japan, I've understood how much they loved and resonated with the story itself, and felt like so many of these issues were pertinent to them as well. So I think there is a global and a universal humanity in the film, which will, I think, reach out to audiences everywhere.
Right. And while you actually, you're talking about touching the lives of women and social expectations, etc., which, of course, as you rightly say, is a universal theme. But in your mind, when you were approaching this film in terms of directing it, how were these themes, really ensured? Was there any special care that you took in terms of handling this particular aspect?
Well, importantly, we wanted to touch upon many such issues that women face, but we wanted to do it in a way where it was not preachy and we were not standing on a little pulpit and giving people lectures. So the attempt was very much to address issues and concerns through dialogue, through situation, or through character and plot, and weave it very seamlessly into the story and the experience of the film itself. So that was our main focus, which was that whatever we wanted to say, we wanted to almost make it not apparent at the outset, but the overall picture comes to you when you leave the cinema and you think of all the various conversations that we've opened up.
Right. And obviously, because it's a very different kind of film that we normally see, as I mentioned earlier, did working on the project lead to any kind of new creative direction? Was there, as a filmmaker, did it evolve your perspective? How do you feel now that the film has been made? How different was it in terms of the journey?
It was a great journey. I'm glad you asked the question. It has changed me as a human being, as a creative person as well. I understand the power of good stories, and seeing the reaction that this film has got from audiences, I realize that this is possible. It's possible for me to stay authentic to my own voice, but still speak to a very wide and diverse audience. So it gave me a lot of confidence in myself, and it also told me that it's really the powerful and good stories can really, transform your connection with your audience and their understanding of your story. So if you get a good story, it's possible to reach your audience and make a difference.
Right. And a larger question about Indian cinema, which has been, of course, evolving rapidly, excuse me, especially in terms of narratives that highlight women's experiences. In terms of Laapata Ladies, do you see it contributing significantly to, dealing with these issues sensitively, more as a movement perhaps amongst filmmakers?
I do hope that this has opened up a window for us to have conversations about various issues, social issues, personal issues, familial issues, in a public domain through cinema, in a more sensitive and empathetic way. I think cinema is a great way to not just hold a mirror up to society, but also open up that door to let in the other, to let in people with opposing points of view, and becomes a space which people can, from, polar opposites, actually occupy together and start conversations. So I think that films can do this and should continue to do this, and I do believe that I would like to be part of such cinema.
Right. Also, the kind of, films that you've triumphed over are some of the biggest blockbusters. Now, it includes Animal, there's a Malayalam film Atam, there's a Tamil film Maharaja, there's Kalki, which is another big blockbuster, as we know, and the 13-member committee unanimously chose Laapata Ladies as India's official entry over all of these films. So how does that make you feel? Is it very rewarding at the end of the day?
It's a huge honor. And it's honestly, that in itself is an award for me. Like you said, such great films were competing, all very, very unique voices in cinema in India. 29 films were in contention, I heard. And they each are meritorious and deserving. So to have been chosen unanimously is an award in itself, really, for me.
Right. Also, there has been, a claim being made by noted filmmaker Anant Mahadevan. He has said that, or alleged rather, that the plot of Laapata Ladies, he says, is lifted from his 1999 film Ghungat Ke Patkhol. And in a recent interview, he's mentioned that several scenes from Laapata Ladies are inspired by his film, which also revolves around a comedic mix-up where two brides get switched. And he shared some of these posts online. Perhaps you would have seen them. What are your thoughts on these similarities being pointed out?
I've also heard of this, but unfortunately I've not seen Mr. Mahadevan's film. It's not available to watch, and I won't be able to comment on it and the similarity with my film until I actually watch his film. So I've stayed away from commenting about it for this reason. I have actually no idea how similar it is.
Right. Kiran, I can also, before I let you go, my last question to you, and this is a larger question. I'm not asking this in the perspective of any one particular film or series, but there's been a lot of debate recently, particularly as a filmmaker, I'm asking you this, about the need to regulate OTT platforms, because you've seen some fantastic series, some fantastic films coming out, and even your film, of course, did very well as far as the OTT platform is concerned. There are concerns being expressed that perhaps there's a need to regulate this medium, just as we have the censor board for regular films that come out on cinema. As a creative person, as a filmmaker, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, my thoughts are that I think regulation of streamers should come in the way that it already is, which is that they actually, in a sense, there's sort of an age, what's it called, almost rating
categorization
for each of the films, which also tell you whether how appropriate it is, both age-wise or content-wise for different audiences. I think the rest should be left ideally to audiences to decide for themselves.
All right. Kiran Rao, I'd like to thank you so much for joining us and sharing with us your perspective, and wish you all the best as far as India's official entry, Laapata Ladies, is concerned at the Oscars. Thanks so much.